My best friend kicked me out of her wedding. I'm new to Reddit, so please forgive the formatting. I need advice from a stranger's POV. I have been best friends with Sarah for well over a decade. We were practically inseparable for most of our adolescence, but once we graduated high school, we drifted apart. She went to college, and I went into the military. We kept in touch over the years, but rarely saw each other because of the distance. I thought our drifting apart was due to circumstance. Any time I would visit, it would be like we were never separated. There was no indication of a rift between us. When her fiancé proposed last year, we were over the moon. I had only met him once, but he seemed like a nice enough guy, and I was just happy she was happy. Soon after, she asked me to be her bridesmaid and MUA for her wedding. Fast forward, I'm in college on the other side of the country, and her bachelorette party is last weekend. It's a weekend trip with a handful of her friends and her sisters. The only people I know are her and the sisters. It's important to note that I am extremely socially awkward, but with the new medication I'm on, I talk and don't know when to stop. From my perspective, everything is going great. I'm interacting with people. I go out of my way to be kind and considerate of everyone around me. I had no idea going into this that I was going to be sharing a room with 4 strangers, but despite my discomfort, I powered through. Sarah and I ended up having a long conversation where we expressed to each other that we would like to rebuild our relationship to what it was and take an active role in each other's lives. By the end of it, I was genuinely proud of myself for getting out of my bubble instead of sitting in a corner by myself the entire time. I fly home and nothing seems amiss. The next day, less than 24 hours after the party, Sarah asks to call me. I'm assuming it's about the makeup for the wedding, so I tell her I'm free. She starts the conversation by telling me she wrote everything down so she can stay on track. This is the point where I panic. I can hear in her tone that something is wrong. The conversation, if you could call it that, summarized, was her telling me that I was a pause friend, that I didn't try to get to know any of her friends. I was trying to out-friend the other girls, and that she didn't feel loved or supported by me. She also made it a point to tell me I never tried to get to know her fiancé either, despite me only meeting him once briefly. She then told me that she no longer wanted me to be a part of her wedding because I no longer fit into her life because we are too different. She said I could still come if I wanted to, but she would understand if I didn't. In a later text message, she apologized for hurting my feelings and said, "I take responsibility for letting my feelings pile up over the years. I've gone through every moment in my head trying to comb through and find what I did wrong, but I keep coming up with nothing. My heart is broken." Not about being in the wedding party, but that she could toss me aside like garbage. I've already paid thousands of dollars in plane tickets and accommodations for this wedding. My question is, should I still go to the wedding, or should I just take a step back and remove myself from her life? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. I second all the other commenters who say don't go to the wedding. She has already told you she doesn't want you to be there. The reasons she gave sound awfully suspect, and the whole "I take responsibility for letting my feelings pile up over the years" didn't stop her from inviting you to her bachelorette party, which she knew would cost you money to get to. Never be the pick-me person. You are working on your issues and taking active steps to get better. This friend is no friend to you. If you can't get a refund on your plane tickets, change the destination and go somewhere fun where you can create better memories. Comment 2. I wouldn't go to the wedding. Your intentions seem really pure, and you pushed past your own issues to try to put your best self forward for her. You flew across the country to show up for her. I'm not saying she's a bad person, but if she looked at all your actions and thought you were a bad friend and you're unsupportive, then she doesn't deserve you. It's okay to love someone but no longer keep them in your life. People grow apart, but it's not beef, you're just different. How she handled it was whack as heck. Now, for the update. Hey everyone, thanks for all the comments on my last post. They really helped me process things. Here's what happened since then. After Sarah kicked me out of her wedding, I was a mess. I couldn't believe that after all the years of friendship, it could end like this. I spent days replaying every interaction, trying to figure out where I went wrong. But then things took an even more dramatic turn. I decided to reach out to one of Sarah's sisters, who I've always been close with. I needed someone to give me the inside scoop, and she didn't disappoint. She told me that during the Bachelorette party, Sarah's other friends felt threatened by our close bond. They had been friends with Sarah during college, a time when I was serving in the military and couldn't be around. They saw me as an outsider trying to reclaim my spot as Sarah's best friend. But here's the jaw-dropping part. Sarah's sister also revealed that Sarah's fiancé had been making moves on her. She was torn about telling Sarah, fearing it would ruin their relationship. I was shocked. This was the guy Sarah was head over heels for, and he was betraying her with her own sister. I was still processing this news when Sarah's sister dropped another one. She confessed that she had feelings for me. We had always clicked, but I never imagined it could be more than friendship. This revelation left me reeling. I had to sort out my own feelings while dealing with the heartbreak of losing Sarah as a friend. Meanwhile, Sarah had been sending me mixed signals. She texted me, apologizing for the harsh call and asking if we could meet up to talk things through. I agreed, hoping for some closure. The meeting was intense. Sarah was emotional, confessing that she felt overwhelmed by the wedding planning and her friends' opinions. She admitted she missed our friendship and regretted how she handled things. But then, she dropped a surprise of her own. She was having doubts about her fiancé. She had noticed some red flags, but didn't know what to do. I was torn between being there for her and protecting my own heart. I still cared about Sarah, but I couldn't shake the feeling of betrayal. And with her sister's confession hanging over us, things were more complicated than ever. The confrontation with Sarah was heated. We both said things we probably shouldn't have. She accused me of trying to sabotage her wedding, and I fired back, telling her about her fiancé and sister. The look on her face was one I'll never forget. It was a mix of hurt, anger, and disbelief. Sarah stormed off, and I was left standing there, feeling like I had lost my best friend all over again. But this time, it was different. There was no going back after what had been said. I spent the next few days avoiding everyone. Sarah's sister tried to reach out, but I wasn't ready to deal with that situation. I needed time to think about what I wanted and how to move forward. As for the wedding, I decided not to go. It would be too painful to watch Sarah marry someone who wasn't faithful, and I couldn't pretend everything was fine between us. I used the money I would have spent on the trip to start a fund for a vacation, something to look forward to. It's been a week since I made that decision, and it's still tough. I miss my friend, but I also feel a sense of relief. It's like I've been carrying the weight of our friendship on my shoulders, and now it's been lifted. Husband wants open marriage and finds serious relationship while I get laid. Oh boy, he regrets it when I expose his girlfriend. A year ago, my husband Marcus and I came to a mutual agreement about opening up our marriage. The spark was mostly gone, and we've toyed with the idea of open relationships, polyamory before. Once we had more in-depth conversations about it and put rules in place, I began downloading dating apps and reaching out to people who expressed interest in me previously. I was going for quick hookups, one-night stands, stuff of that nature. If it turned into something more, it did, and I cared if it didn't. Marcus, however, was looking for something semi-serious, one partner rather than multiple, and was trying to date locally but struggled with it. I suggested that he try using a dating app like me, and he downloaded an app where he met his current girlfriend, Charmy. Charmy is in her second year of law school, graduated summa cum laude with a BA for her undergrad, and has fairly well-off parents. I know all of this because my husband gushed about it to me after he already went on a few dates and was hitting it off with her. I was happy for him, their relationship only really annoying me when their plans coincided with mine, and I had to cancel my own plans last minute to watch our kids. Until Marcus would stay up for hours, talking to Charmy while in our bed, and would only go to the living room to resume their conversation there if I said he's keeping me up or he had work in the morning. I've seen plenty of receipts for flowers, chocolates, new purses, jewelry, and fancy dinners all for Charmy, when we've hardly done anything truly special in the past year. Part of our agreement was that we wouldn't totally give up on our marriage and have things like date nights. If I try to bring that up, Marcus will argue that he's been busy with work, that I don't actually bother to do anything special for us, or walk away from the conversation. Yesterday was my last straw. January 31st is our wedding anniversary, and I assumed that he would at least stay home with me and the kids like he did last year. Nope. When I went to talk to him about it, he said that since he missed Charmy's birthday that was last week due to being super busy at work and too exhausted to go out, he wanted to have a late birthday celebration with her. I yelled at him when he said that, and that obviously our wedding anniversary is more important than Charmy's birthday. Marcus argued with me, saying we didn't do anything last year, so why should it matter if he spends his time somewhere else? I said that at least he spent his time at home rather than with someone else. We argued some more before Marcus just walked away from me and went into the guest bedroom. He didn't come out unless it was to interact with the kids, and barely spoke to me if I was around. He went straight to work after making sure that the kids had caught their bus, and hasn't answered or replied to my phone calls or texts about wanting to talk with him. He'll be home soon, and I am seriously at the end of my rope. Our relationship has gone seriously downhill since he started dating her, but then again, she also makes him so happy from what I've seen. It's also not like he's neglecting our kids, which I wouldn't ever allow. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Yeah, he's basically moving on. He is in an entirely new relationship, and by the looks of it, he is enjoying it far more than the one he has with you. Hate to break it to you. This is just another example of the messed up outcome that comes from open marriages. Comment 2. A year ago, my husband Marcus and I came to a mutual agreement about opening up our marriage. The spark was mostly gone, and we've toyed with the idea of open relationships polyamory before. Your marriage was over then. Move on. Now for the update. Hey everyone, thanks for all the comments and advice on my last post. It's been a month since I last updated, and oh boy, do I have some news. So after Marcus ignored our anniversary for Charmy's belated birthday celebration, things got even more tense between us. I was fuming and he was distant. But I didn't just sit around feeling sorry for myself. I decided to take action. I started by focusing on myself more, hitting the gym and reconnecting with old friends. It felt good to be doing something for me, and it gave me the energy to deal with everything else. Meanwhile, Marcus was still wrapped up in his world with Charmy. One day I was picking up the kids from school when I bumped into an old friend, Sarah, who used to work with Marcus. We got to talking, and she mentioned how Marcus had been the talk of the office lately. Apparently, he'd been bragging about Charmy nonstop, and it was rubbing people the wrong way. I was embarrassed, but not surprised. Then Sarah dropped a bombshell. She'd heard through the grapevine that Charmy wasn't as perfect as Marcus made her out to be. Rumor had it that Charmy was known for dating older, married men, and that she had a reputation for being a bit of a gold digger. My heart sank. Was Marcus just another notch on her belt? I kept this info to myself, but started paying closer attention to Marcus and Charmy's relationship. I noticed that Marcus was working late more often, and when he was home, he was constantly on his phone with Charmy. It was like he was living a double life. One evening, Marcus came home from work looking like he'd seen a ghost. He was pale and wouldn't meet my eyes. I asked him what was wrong, but he brushed me off and went straight to bed. The next morning, he was gone before I woke up. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was up, so I did a little snooping. I checked our bank statements and found a series of large withdrawals that I couldn't account for. My mind raced with possibilities. Was Marcus giving money to Charmy? I confronted Marcus about the withdrawals when he finally came home that night. He tried to deny it at first, but I could tell he was lying. After some back and forth, he admitted that he'd been helping Charmy pay for her tuition and some credit card debt. I was livid. We had agreed not to let our outside relationships affect our family financially, and here he was, breaking that rule. The argument that followed was explosive. Marcus accused me of being controlling and not wanting him to be happy. I shot back that he was being irresponsible and putting our family at risk. It was a mess. But then the most unexpected thing happened. Charmy showed up at our door in the middle of our fight. She must have been expecting to find Marcus alone, but instead, she walked in on a war zone. Charmy tried to play innocent, saying she just wanted to talk to Marcus, but I wasn't having it. I told her everything I knew about her past and the money. She looked like a deer caught in headlights. Marcus was shocked. He had no idea about Charmy's history. He turned to her for an explanation, but she just stuttered and couldn't come up with a good answer. It was clear she'd been caught. In the end, Charmy left our house in tears, and Marcus was left to face the reality of the situation. He apologized to me, saying he'd been blinded by the excitement of a new relationship and hadn't considered the consequences. Since then, Marcus has cut off all contact with Charmy. He's been more present at home, and we've started going to couples therapy. It's not perfect, but we're working on it. As for Charmy, I heard she dropped out of law school and moved back in with her parents. It seems like she won't be preying on anyone else anytime soon. Wife cheats on me with another man, and now his wife wants revenge. Oh boy. Hello, good people of Reddit. According to one of my work colleagues, I can get some advice from random strangers here, as I can't really trust anyone I know. So let's give this a try. First, a little about the current situation. I'm a 38-year-old male, and my wife is 35-year-old female. We have been married for 6 years now, and so far things seem good to me. We both have stable careers, good communication, a great intimacy life, and so on. Sure, we both have our rough patches, and we both have to work longer hours some weeks. Overall, things seem pretty good. So imagine my shock when 2 days ago, I get a text from a random number telling me my wife is cheating on me. There is a photo included which shows my wife with another person as they walk hand in hand into a hotel, and another photo of them sharing a kiss out front of the same hotel. This has come out of left field for me. My wife doesn't show any signs of cheating on me, but I can't deny these photos. The text asked me to call if I wanted more information, so obviously I did. I was shocked by what I found out. On the call was a lady I will call Lily. She claims to be the wife of the man my wife is cheating with. She has been suspicious of her husband, let's call him Derek. She explains she has been convinced that Derek has been cheating on her for over a year now. She has the photos she sent me, but will need some more concrete proof, and thought I also deserve to know. She has asked me to help get proof on Derek and my wife regarding the infidelity they have caused. I'm not sure what to make of this. She has asked me not to tell my wife. For reference, I will call my wife Sandra. Lily said I can call her back with an answer, as this information dump is going to overwhelm me. I'm a mess, and I'm finding it hard to keep things together around my wife. She knows something is wrong as she has asked what is going on. So far, she thinks I'm going through a rough time at work and I need some space to settle down. I would normally never lie to Sandra like this, but these are difficult times. So the million-dollar question is, what the heck should I do now? I just can't imagine Sandra doing this to me, to us. She'd never kiss another man, let alone have intimacy with him. I'm taking the next week off work and telling Sandra I'm going on an emergency trip for work. So at this moment, I'm a man whose world is collapsing around him, sitting in a hotel room wondering what to do next. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. I just can't imagine Sandra doing this to me, to us. She'd never kiss another man, let alone have intimacy with him. Well, unfortunately, you now have photographic evidence that she's kissing another man and that she's holding hands going into a hotel with him. Unless you think someone is playing a nasty, sophisticated prank on you, then you need to wake up. If there isn't any involvement of kids, I recommend calling a divorce attorney on Monday and asking them to walk you through what a divorce will entail and get some advice from them. Comment 2. Whatever you do, do not let your wife know that you know anything. You don't want to confront her without ironclad proof. That way she can't lie or gaslight her way out of this. If you do your own investigation and it confirms what Lily said, you can decide whether you want to work with Lily on this to bring those cheaters down when the time is right. Talk to an attorney, hire a private investigator, especially for the week she thinks you're going to be out of town. Protect your assets the best you can. Now for the update. Hello, good people of Reddit. Thanks for all the comments on my last post. I've got an update for you, and it's been a wild few days. After my last post, I decided to take action. I called Lily back and agreed to help her gather more evidence. We decided to meet up and plan our next steps. It turns out, Lily had been tracking Derek's movements for months. She had bank statements showing hotel charges and receipts for gifts that were never given to her. The level of detail was intense. Lily and I staked out the hotel where the photos were taken. It was nerve-wracking. Sitting in a car with a woman I barely knew, waiting for our spouses to show up. And sure enough, they did. Sandra and Derek walked in, laughing and touching each other like they were on a honeymoon. It was like a punch to the gut. We followed them inside, careful to stay out of sight. Lily had booked a room across from the one Derek usually booked. We listened at the door and, well, the sounds confirmed our worst fears. I felt sick, but Lily was stone cold, recording everything on her phone for evidence. The next day I confronted Sandra. I couldn't keep up the act any longer. Her reaction was not what I expected. She broke down, confessing everything. She told me she had felt neglected and alone because of my long work hours. She said it started as a friendship with Derek, who was going through similar issues with Lily. One thing led to another, and they found comfort in each other's arms. But here's the twist. Sandra revealed that she had planned to end it with Derek that very day we caught them. She realized she loved me and didn't want to lose what we had. She was in tears, begging for my forgiveness. I was torn. Part of me wanted to scream, to throw her out, but another part of me remembered all the good times we had. The vacations we took, the quiet nights at home, the way she supported me when my mom passed away. It was a lot to process. Meanwhile, Lily was on a warpath. She had no intention of forgiving Derek. She wanted to take him for everything he had. She even suggested we team up to make sure they both got what they deserved. I had to admit, the idea was tempting. But then another bombshell dropped. Sandra told me she was pregnant. The timing meant the baby could be mine or Derek's. I was floored. I didn't know whether to be angry or hopeful. It was a mess of emotions. I decided to take a step back from both Lily and Sandra. I needed space to think. I went back to the hotel room I had booked for my emergency work trip and just sat there trying to piece together my life. The next day, I got a call from Lily. She had confronted Derek with the evidence, and he had a heart attack. He was in the hospital, and things didn't look good. Lily was a mix of furious and scared. She didn't know whether to feel guilty or vindicated. I went to visit Derek. Seeing him there, hooked up to machines, I felt a strange sense of pity. We had both made mistakes, but this was a harsh punishment. I spoke to him, told him I didn't hate him, but I couldn't forgive him either. He was unconscious, but I hoped somehow he could hear me. As for Sandra, we're in limbo. We've started couples therapy, and she's agreed to a paternity test once the baby is born. It's a long road ahead, and I'm not sure where it will lead us. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.